Hey everyone, this is Kenny Coins with Marathon Money. Make every second count. I have a really good guest on my show, and I reached out to him on LinkedIn. It's kind of one of those who has a lot of followers on LinkedIn and take a long shot. He actually replied to me. His name is Brandon Keegan. He's a six-time CEO, two-time Wall Street Journal, bestseller on Amazon. And I looked over his book. He done a lot of great things in the investment field, help a lot of companies grow their top line, um, been a part of 21 private boards. He pretty much did it all. Um, so my very first question for you, Brandon, how did you get your start?
Hey, well, Kenny, thanks for having me on. I love your show. I love talking to your audience today. So hopefully I'll drop a nugget of wisdom or a little knowledge. So how did I get my start? Probably just like everybody else. Just started from the ground up. Started as a programmer. So I was actually writing code. I was doing it for a company, EDS, and doing it at the Pentagon for Department of Defense. I used to talk with our clients a lot, and somebody said, "Hey, you're good with people. Let's put you in sales." I said, "Hey, it pays commissions. That means I make more money, so I'm in." And then just from there, I just really enjoyed working with clients, enjoyed problem solving, and I did sales for a number of years at a large company. And then it was 1998, 99, and there was a big tech boom going on out in Silicon Valley. And as a tech guy, I said, I got to move out and be in the Super Bowl of tech. So me and a friend moved out to Silicon Valley, and Cisco Systems gave us 90 million, and Michael Dell gave us 10 million to start a company. So we started that, grew it for a couple of years. Then, as we know, the tech boom went bust. So we sold that, and then that started my 24-year career as an operational CEO. And during that time, I had a chance to lead six different companies, all private equity, venture capital backed, and each of them successfully sold to another entity and completed the liquidity exit. But I think the key to my start has just been getting up early every morning and working really hard.
How's it it's like working at the Pentagon? Is that like
Uh,
a top secret?
no, so no, we actually worked. It was just like programming. We were in like one of the outer rings, and it was just it was great. I will tell you, I think it is the largest office building in North America, and more than once I got lost, and a couple times I got lost in the wrong section and got escorted back to where I was supposed to be, which is polite for saying, get out of where I was and stop venturing around. I didn't even know that I was, but it was pretty neat. It was pretty neat. I was 21 years old, so it was pretty special.
You've been a part of like six companies. Um, all Have you done some of them at the same time or just kind of back to back, like you exit out of one, got into another one?
Yeah, no, they all one at a time, and it's interesting because when I would go into a company, a lot of them were turnarounds, meaning that the company was struggling, and there was a time horizon. I'd get told before I even started, "Hey, we have to sell this company in 2 years. We're going to sell this company in 3 years. We're going to sell this company in 4 years." So when you go in, you kind of know in 2 years I'm going to be looking for my next job. In 4 years I'm going to be looking for my next job. In 5 years I'm going to be looking for my next job. So you're kind of on the clock, and I really enjoyed that. My first one, they said, "Hey, in our fund, we're already 3 years in. We want to sell it at 5 years. So you've got 2 years to make it as successful, as profitable, and as proven as possible before we exit." And the last one I did, we had a 7-year time horizon, and we actually sold it in 4.5 because we had just gone from 500 million top line to 2.5 billion top line. So we went up 5x in 4 years, and it was really time to sell because we were doing really well during that time. So it's interesting. I used to joke with my dad when he was alive. He'd say, "So you're taking this job, and they're going to let you go in 2, 3, or 4 years?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "Well, why would you take it?" And I'd be like, it's the impact, it's the challenge, it's the ability to take a good company and make it great, and then sell it to another great company to take it even further. So they were 6 different companies in 5 different industries. I've really tried to stay industry agnostic so that I could continue to learn and develop. And it's been tremendously fun. And just this past May, I kind of retired as an operational CEO, and now I'm getting a chance to work with a number of different companies as really helping them understand how to disrupt, how to innovate, how to transform, and how to have some of that top line growth that I've been fortunate to have in the companies that I've led.
I feel like pressure is a privilege, and you're pretty much surrounded by a significant amount of pressure. And usually, pressure is a really good thing. Definitely, if you can handle it. If you ever seen the show House of Cards?
I have, yes, yeah,
Yeah, in the I think it's season 3. Frank Underwood says he would never. His vice president said he would never be able to take the pressure because he will buckle and fold. And it takes a certain kind of person to be able to take that pressure. And you, as a president, you only have a limited of time. Either you got 4 years or you got 8 years, and
yeah.
you're kind of operating at that scale. Um, like how does I would say about like 80% of the population can't handle that pressure,
Yeah,
can't handle that stress.
it's interesting. Pressure and stress. They're interesting things. I think if you apply it properly and you face it, and I talk about FUD a lot, facing your fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And if you go in accepting that you're on a timeline and you set a clear goal and a clear vision, I actually think you can channel that pressure into positive motivation. And from a standpoint of, hey, we're on the clock. We've got 3 years to accomplish this. What are we going to do? And it kind of reminds me of the Patriots when they were down to the Atlanta Falcons in the third quarter, 28-3. They knew we have 22 minutes to win or lose, not 24. Actually, I back up. They did take 24 minutes, so they had to go into overtime. But that pressure, I think, either brings out the best in people, or it can also, as you say, people can buckle under it. For myself, I think the pressure really just brings out the best in me. It intensifies my focus. It brings into clarity what's important and what isn't. And when you've only got a certain amount of time and you're trying to hit a certain goal, things that aren't going to get you to that goal, it's real easy to say no to them. It's real easy to say, great idea, just not what we're going to execute right now. And I think sometimes when you don't have that maybe pressure, or you don't have that focus, or you don't have that intentionality, I think sometimes maybe you do get distracted by things that aren't going to get you to your ultimate goal. So I've always enjoyed the pressure. Now, I think stress is a different thing. I think stress is, how do you handle pressure? And I get stressed like anybody else, but my outlet, I always talk about sources and outlets. My sources to have positive energy and to combat stress is to be around good people, and my outlet is to go for a run, go work out, sweat it out. And I can't tell you how many times when I'd start on a jog and I'd think, oh man, something's caving, a client's upset. What are we going to do? We need to raise capital. And 5 miles later, I was like, we got this. We got this. It was just a calming for me. But I think we all find our sources and outlets. By the way, I try yoga annually to see if I can get that to work, because a lot of people do, and I think I'm 0 for 10. I sit in yoga class the whole time, going like, when is this thing going to be over?
Yo, I have tried yoga multiple times.
Yeah, I say that because
I'm
I say,
always like, when is this gonna be over? Some
well, the
of it
reason
I actually try it, like some of it I can actually get through. I done one where I actually got through one, and it was like, all right, maybe I could do this again. But I don't know, maybe my body just can't take it.
So and this is I'm going to try it this week again. I haven't tried it this year, and I'm sitting there going, hey, as I get older, maybe I should back off the mileage on my knees. So I'm going to try it this week, but I'm probably going in with a bad attitude because I'm going in saying I wonder if I'll last the whole hour. Um, it's just,
You
but you know
actually
what?
walk out?
Yeah. um, well, the last time after like 40 minutes, I just kind of laid there.
Okay. Oh,
Um, and
nah, so
and
sometimes like I zone out because
oh
it's
yeah,
just like, yo, this does not feel good at all. It's like
but
it's just not
but
normal
the
for your body.
but I
Really.
think the key that I'm getting after is like you got to find what's your outlet. Like where can you de-stress?
Yeah.
People do it different things. Like I have a good friend that their de-stressor is sitting on the couch and reading a book. My wife's de-stressor is grabbing a puzzle and doing a puzzle. By the way, I find doing puzzling frustrating because I can't get the pieces in. She finds it relaxing. So I think as you handle pressure and stress and just finding what calms you down, what keeps your heartbeat low, and we're all different, and it's important that you each find a way to do it.
When it comes to like fear, I feel like I go into my work more. Like if I feel something's gonna fail or something's not gonna go right, I go into that more. I start doing more work. I start figure out ways to like prevent that thing from happening. I don't know if that's good.
No, it is. So, when you think of fear, it's do you lean in or do you lean out? So the first thing that, what I'm hearing you say, Kenny, is you lean in. So I'd say that's a good thing. A lot of people, when fear comes up, hey, I'm not going to get that. I'm not going to get that job, or this client isn't going to say yes, or this investment isn't going to work out, or heck, this girl isn't going to say yes on a date. Whatever it is, I think some people when they lean out, they choose not to even participate. They go, I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to get that, and they let their fear, uncertainty, and doubt take over. So the first thing I'd say is if you dig in, that's a positive. Now, one of the sayings I have, and I use it a lot, is have the courage to fail. So lean in, have courage, and be willing to fail. But as you're leaning in, have the faith that you're going to succeed. So have the courage to fail and faith to succeed. So as you lean in, don't lean in and say, I'm going to lean in. Don't know if this is going to work out. So lean in and say, hey, if I apply myself, if I work hard, if I collaborate with good teammates, we're going to come up with a good solution. I don't know what it is right now, but I know we're going to come up with a good solution. So it's having that courage as you lean in, but having the faith that a positive outcome that you're going to succeed in the end.
Uncertainty can paralyze us or propel us forward. The choice is ours to make every single day count.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. There,
that's kind of what I was thinking when you said all that. It's like I feel like a lot of people get paralyzed and they get frozen and they get stuck and then
well,
find themselves in a situation that they didn't want to be in the first place.
Well, and you picked a word that a lot of times when I'm like someone will reach out to me on LinkedIn and ask if I've got some time to chat with them, and one of the words they'll use is they'll say, "Hey, Brendan, I'm 42 years old, I'm 45 years old, and I'm stuck." So you just use that word, "I'm stuck," and I'm like, "What do you mean you're stuck?" I don't know what to do. I'm at a career point. I'm not sure what to do next, and stuck is actually a really awkward and it's a bad place to be because you're not moving forward, you're not moving backward, and you're not growing, you're not developing, you're probably not having the impact you want. But the reason it's a tough one is because you're not sure what to do. Um, and sometimes that's a mindset, meaning you know what to do, you're just not doing it. Other times you genuinely don't know what to do. And stuck can be a place that you live in, not just for a day, a month, but you can live in for months and years. And I think, I applaud people that reach out um, to a coach, to a friend, to a mentor and say, hey, I'm stuck. What do I do? And I can go back to college. I got stuck all the time in math class, and I would go see my teacher or tutor and say, "I'm stuck. I'm staring at this damn problem. No matter how much I stare at it, the answer's not coming to me." But I think if we use that type of application in life when we're stuck, if we're stuck with a relationship, if you're struggling with a relationship with one of your kids or your spouse or partner, Like, how do you get unstuck? I can tell you one way you don't get unstuck is by burying your head and pretend nothing's it's going to go away. You got to lean in, and I know Kenny, you're somebody that leans in.
No, I do definitely lean in, and I appreciate you confirming that I'm doing the right thing. But while you were like giving that analogy and talking about being stuck, if somebody's like, to me, if you're stuck and you go out your way and say, "Look, man, I'm stuck," you're actually not, because you're actually taking a step forward.
Absolutely, absolutely, and one thing, and we've probably all heard this before, but one thing I say to folks is, when you're stuck, who do you reach out to? What's your friend group like? And there's a saying out there, and I didn't coin it. I wish I knew who did so I could give them credit. But they say, if you look at your circle of friends and you're not inspired, you don't have a circle, you have a cage. And if you put good people around you, people that are successful around you, and I don't mean business success, I mean just successful. They wake up in the morning and they do the right things. Then when you're stuck, you have people around you, your friend circle, that can help lift you up, that can help get you unstuck, if you will. Unfortunately, not enough of us have that really good circle of friends, and it's really important. And finding good friends is tough. I say that like it's easy. It's not. We're all busy. We're raising kids. We're busy in our careers. We're busy doing podcasts. We're busy listening to podcasts and traffic and such. But it's important that whether it be friends, whether it be a coach you have, whether it be a mentor, it could be your boss, is that you have people around you that are going to help you through that fear, uncertainty, and doubt, that getting stuck in a career or in a relationship, that really will give you that positive energy and contagious energy to move forward.
You kind of already answered that question with the circle, because I was going to ask, like, how do you build a circle of friend that has that success that you can constantly lean on towards? Is like, what, he has a level of success that I want to be a part of. And where do you like find those people? I think everybody struggles to find those people,
Yeah, yeah.
unless you work in an industry that has those people around, but very few people do.
What I'd say is the people are around. But you got to look for them. You got to be attentive. I have some really good friends that, matter of fact, every once in a while, a year ago, I took a group of my friends out to the Patriots Las Vegas game, and horrible game. Patriots lost it on the last play of the game. It was a horrendous game. And we were going out, and as I was introducing everybody to each other, they're all like, we're so different. I had somebody who was a lawyer. I had somebody who was an accountant. I had somebody who was a financial advisor, somebody who was a benefits broker, somebody who was a plastics engineer, somebody who sold cars, somebody who sold watches. And by the way, the joke was, you have no cars to sell and you have no watches to sell, just because of it was right after COVID. And people were kind of like, wow, this is a really different group. And the ages were from 32 to 60. Now, by the end of the weekend, people were like, "Oh my God, we're all very similar. We're super similar." The younger car salesperson was is an aspirational leader who really wants great things, and the M&A lawyer for one of the top law firms in the world had already achieved that. And when they kind of looked around the circle, if you will, literally the circle, when we were having dinner one night, they're like, wow, we are all so similar, even though we do tremendously different things in life. And I said, hey guys, the reason you're part of my circle of friends is you're all positive. You're all energetic. You're all getting up every day and getting after it. You're not complainers. You don't look at the negative. And when negative hits you, you muscle through it. Now, here's the other thing I'd say. If I look over the last 10 years, the toughest thing about building your circle of friends is knowing when to let some of your circle go. Some people that, and it's not like you're outgrowing them, but sometimes you have people in your circle that bring you down. As you succeed, this is horrible, but they're almost jealous of your success and they want to pull you back. or they just have habits that aren't going to propel them forward or you forward. And I'm not saying don't be friends with them, continue to be friends with them, but you might not want to have them on your inner circle. Try to put on your inner circle a group of trusted advisors and friends that lift you up, because sometimes just seeing what they do, just going for a run with them, going for a bike ride with them, you come back and you go, man, I'm just so energized by their success in the way they're thinking that it motivates you to be successful. Vice versa, if you surround yourself with people that aren't getting up in the morning and getting after it and aren't achieving, you'll start to become the sum of your friends.
That's well put. I I like that. I think I got to start looking out around deeper to things that I want in my life and things that I want to see, because
Yeah.
that's pretty much what it comes down to. It's like, what do you want to be surrounded with? Positivity, thinking forward, innovation, stuff like that. People that thinks that way, and so you can be like them. Just want to shift the focus. I want to focus more on like the business aspect.
Yeah.
You said you had raised capital. You have, I see that you have done over 500 million to 2 billion in revenue.
Yep.
Um, what's like the most amount you made in a year?
Like money wise.
Company
Uh,
wise, money wise.
Yeah, sure, sure. So the last company I was at, when I got there, we were 500 million in assets, and we were 8 million in profit. And 4.5 years later, when we sold, we were 2.5 billion. So we grew 5 times top line, and we were making 186 million in profit. So we had gone from 8 to 186, which was pretty good. And then the value of the company had gone from 125 million to well over a billion. And everyone who had stock in that company did really well. So, and growing your top line is that positive mindset. Just there's strategy to it, but I think a lot of it is aligning your culture, your people, and then going out and doing great things and believing in your company's value prop. But that was probably the biggest company that I've had a chance to personally run. And it's that was as Bain Capital, who acquired us, as they said, we were in the 99.9 percentile of companies' performance, and the fact that we grew 5x over a 4.5 year period was pretty exceptional. And just we had 700 people that woke up every morning and got after it. I just can't say enough good things about the people at that company. They were tremendous. I look up to every single one of them every day.
What is the best financial advice you would give for like a
So
young
I,
entrepreneur?
the other night I was out with 70 football players from Theta Chi, and I got one of my last questions of the night. We were sitting around. They cooked up some chicken parm, and one of the people asked about about that question. They kind of said, how do you balance becoming wealthy, and how do you build wealth? And to me, it's really simple. The first is you control your expenses. So everything starts with what you spend. So, everybody thinks it's about making money. The first thing I'd say is, you got to control your expenses. If you control your expenses and you're frugal, the next is then you save money. If you're starting out and you're young, you want to be putting money into 401k. You want to be putting money into savings. When you're young, you don't have a lot of money. And as you start to make money, what I'd say is don't change your lifestyle. Keep your lifestyle simple. To this day, I keep my life simple. I don't hit the Starbucks up. I don't go out and do a lot of fancy dinners. I've lived in the same house for 15 years now, and a lot of people would say, "Hey, how come you don't have a bigger house?" And I'm like, my house has everything I need. It's got bedrooms, a kitchen, and stuff. So the first is manage your expenses. Second is save. Then the third is get yourself in roles where you can have unlimited potential to create income on an annual basis and wealth long term. But I can tell you, people that have big W-2s, people that make a lot of money, that spend a lot of money, and because of that, they're actually not wealthy. So it starts with manage your expenses, save, and then make a lot of money. And if you do the first two, you will create wealth.
Actually, I was just talking to somebody about that last night. How the census says, the U.S. census says about almost 80% of people that makes over 250K live paycheck to paycheck. And
Yep.
the more money they make, the more they spend. And then at the end of their life, even though they probably made $10 million, they don't have anything.
Yep.
And that's a lot of people. You know what I mean? But a lot of businesses go out of business for the lack of capital. Man, what can they do to like keep that from being the death of their business?
Yeah, so capital is an interesting thing because there's so many different kinds of capital, and I've had a chance to raise just a little under 10 billion in my career, and I've done it from everywhere from private debt to public debt to IPO to equity to preferred equity to warrants to ABLs and ABSs. So in my career in 6 different companies, I think I've raised just about every type of capital. And the first thing I'd say is, do everything you can not to need capital, first of all. So that goes to that same thing: manage your expenses, save. But as you start to say, for us to grow, for us to become a national company, for us to grow because we think we have a great product or service, we need capital. The first thing I'd say is always start with debt, because debt, you just have to pay interest back. You're not giving up any equity in your company. So you want to put debt on your company first, and that could be through a bank loan. You might have to do a personal guarantee if you're younger in the company's time. There's lots of private money out there. So the first thing I'd say is debt. Now, once you've exhausted that, and by the way, depending on what you do, you might have to pay a higher interest rate. And what I tell you is you're better to pay a little bit higher interest rate and not give up any equity in your company. Now, if you're trying to take your company up another level and you've decided you need equity, what I'd say is great, do that. But I would really coach you, get an advisor who knows the equity markets. I've seen a lot of young entrepreneurs. I've seen a lot of, and when I say young, I don't necessarily mean age. I mean in terms of how long they've been an entrepreneur, give up too much of their company too early. And once you give up that equity, you can't get it back. If you give up, 30% of your company because someone's going to give you a $2 million loan and some penny warrants or whatever it is, you might think that's a good deal. But if you maybe have an advisor, somebody who's been doing it, that can help you, they might tell you, hey, don't take this. There's more efficient capital out there. So that would probably be where I'd end this kind of part is look for the most efficient capital you can. And if you are not familiar with the capital markets, find an advisor that is, and even though they're going to make some money, they're not going to probably give you their advice and advisory services for free. They will pay for themselves over by getting a better capital structure, better equity, better debt, better terms than you most likely would have got on your own.
You're talking about like not giving up equity early on in your career and then try not giving up equity at all if you have a business. And obviously, I have two businesses and I go above and beyond to not try to give anybody equity of that business, even when I feel like I need the capital to grow a lot faster. But I also have learned that too much capital can actually be your downfall.
Yeah.
Because if you look at like BlackBerry, Kodak, they had too much capital and not enough innovation and creativity. Because I feel like if you have enough innovation and creativity, you'll find a way to get off the island.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's that managing your expenses, bootstrapping the company, staying lean, staying focused, making an impact, not getting distracted. There's a saying, not chasing, multiple rabbits at the same time. So, but that's when you're lean. You do, and I firmly believe if you have too much capital, there's a saying, if you have too much capital, you will spend it, and
Yeah.
and then
So
and then that's just not being efficient.
yeah, a lot of companies die from indigestion, not starvation.
Yep. Yeah, I like
Just
that.
trying
I
to,
haven't heard that saying. Yeah, I like
yeah,
that.
yeah. And a lot of people just they take on too much capital, and then they end up getting too fat and they can't move.
Yep.
Sometimes it's not
Yep.
worth it. But man, I really appreciate we kind of hit that mark real quick. Just realized it's like 29 minutes. But what would you like to say before we get off? It's like there's something that you want to like tell everybody that who's looking to be you or be somebody great?
Yeah, well, the first thing I'd say is believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, people won't believe in you. Once you believe in yourself, what I'd say is, face your fear, face your uncertainty, face your doubt, be fearless. And in conclusion, I'd say what I said earlier. Have the courage to fail, be willing to fail, but have the faith that you're going to succeed. Thank you,
Yeah.
Kenny.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate your time and want to say thank you to everyone who is watching and listening, and check out Brandon. Um, peace.